Well, hello there. And welcome to Sour Grapes Movie Reviews. Today we will take a look at Gerry Anderson's Space 1999. It has become an iconic sci-fi TV show for its era, even though it has not dated well over the past 45 years. But it is still well remembered by many fans, and it is worth a look, for a show that could have been the next big sci-fi franchise, if it had survived another season or so. Here are some facts about the show that you may not have previously known. It started out as the second season of UFO, the first season of Gerry and Sylvia Anderson's Alien Invasion series. UFO had been performing well in syndication in the early 70s and a second season was ordered, but that would have taken place mostly on the moon. The time frame would have been moved forward 19 years after the first season and would have been called UFO 1999. The Andersons began developing the second season, but it was then scrapped, so they decided to take some of the concepts and develop an all-new series. It had several different names before landing on Space 1999. Once the Andersons decided to make a separate series that would be set on a moon that was hurtling through space, they would go through several title changes. At various times they considered Menace in Space, Space Intruders, Space Probe, The Space Ark, Journey into Space, and Space Journey, 1999. The entire first season was filmed in advance. ITC Entertainment had so much confidence in the show that they financed the entire first season in advance, with additional funding from Italian broadcaster RAI. The idea was to sell it to the United States market, and they believed that having a completed product would make for an easier sale. However, the U.S. networks preferred to have more control of the shows they aired. And all three of the major broadcasters ABC, CBS, NBC rejected it. The series preempted regularly scheduled programming on the broadcast networks. Plan B for the show was to sell it into syndication, and that proved a huge success. All of the major markets purchased the show and in many cases broadcast affiliates aired it in prime time, preempting regularly scheduled programming. Viewership was good early on, but the network strong-armed their affiliates into kicking the show out of primetime hours, which ultimately led to its legacy of airing on the weekends and hard-to-find time slots. ITC tried to Americanize the show in its second season. ITC originally considered canceling the show after its first season, since it was not picked up by one of the major U.S. networks. But they decided to keep it going and Americanize the series in its second year in order to increase appeal with audiences in the States. This resulted in bringing aboard the notorious Fred Freiberger as executive producer for the second season, the person who had helmed, and many believed ruined, Star Trek in its third and final season. Fred Freiberger made major changes in the second season format. Once Freiberger was tasked with making the show more palatable for American audiences. He provided his analysis of the first season to Gerry Anderson. He believed that the characters were one-dimensional and the audience could not relate to them. And he wanted to bring in an all-new younger cast. This resulted in the departures of Barry Morse, Prentice Hancock, and Clifton Jones. He also wanted to bring in an alien character to give the series a charged-up science fiction overlay. First season writer Johnny Byrne was not thrilled with Freiberger's changes. Johnny Byrne, not to be confused with comic book artist John Byrne, was one of the main writers for the first season of the show and was retained for the second season, though with fewer writing credits. He did believe that some of the new producers' contributions were good. But overall he said that Freiberger should have been kept a million miles away from space, 1999. A third season and Maya spin-off were planned, after the second season wrapped up. There were talks of continuing the show for a third year. The episode count would have been cut in half, though, to keep costs down. There were also talks of a Maya spin-off series, though it is not clear if that would have resulted in her leaving the main show. Ultimately both ideas were scrapped, and the show ended with its second season. At only 48 episodes across 2 seasons, it was not as attractive to the syndication market and did not have a long life in reruns. And so ended the legacy of Space 1999. Now that we are done with the technical aspects of the show, we can have some fun. I watched Space 1999 when I was just a teen. The series UFO never aired much in Canada as I remember, and I wasn't much of a fan. But when Space 1999 aired, I was captivated. The eagles were so realistic, the base was so sleek and white. Even the comlocks and lasers were awesome. In Season 1 the moon gets blasted away from Earth's orbit because of a nuclear deposit site explodes, and so the adventure begins. The first season episodes were a bit dry, taking on cosmic stories, almost reminded me of a Space Odyssey type of environment. The second season took on a lighter side with new car actors, they even changed the opening music to a more groovy style of intro. Romances were made commonplace between the Alphans, and some comedic relief was established with some new aliens. The space battles were no way near what we see today, but they were scientifically accurate. All in all, this was one of my favorite shows on a Saturday morning, squeezed between Star Trek and Lost in Space. Space 1999 brings back so many great memories of my youth. I wish they would do a remake of this terrific show at some point. In closing, I truly hope you enjoy these movie perspectives as much as I enjoy making them. Don't forget to hit the like button, and I will see you on the next one. Cheers folks, and may the force be with you.